Oh Spirit, come make us humble. We turn our eyes from evil things. Oh Lord, we cast down our idols. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Oh God, let us be a generation that seeks your face. Oh God of Jacob, oh God, let us be a generation that seeks your face. Oh God of Jacob, give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Oh God, let us be a generation that seeks your face. Oh God of Jacob, oh God, let us be a generation that seeks your face. Oh God of Jacob. We bow our hearts, we bend our knees. Oh Spirit, come make us humble. We turn our eyes from evil things. Oh Lord, we cast down our idols. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. We bow our hearts, we bend our knees. Oh Spirit, come make us humble. We turn our eyes from evil things. Oh Lord, we cast down our idols. Give us clean hands, give us pure hearts. Let us not lift our souls to another. Give us clean hands.
Everybody, welcome. It's good to see you in our studio where we can actually see ourselves a little bit too. And welcome, Dan, once again, as we discuss. And about the first question, I like that, but not just in a moment. But
Not getting audio. Hold on.
What's the question, though?
The question is, here you are discussing this encyclical. What does that feel like to you? This Catholic Pope's encyclical.
don't answer.
And
Don't answer.
well, how do you see that in your own world?
Don't answer. You lose your spontaneity when he asks you when we're live.
Yeah, don't
He's
answer.
going to talk to you about how does it feel to be a non-Catholic, talking about the writings of the Catholic Pope.
Yeah,
And okay, are we all right now?
that's perfect.
Are we back, Steve?
Well, we hear everybody. You can hear us now. Okay, very good. Well, welcome once again, and thank you for joining us. And thanks, Marty, Reverend Dan Becker, who is with us here today.
Wow. Reverend?
Yeah, you've been
Reverend.
lifted.
Yeah, you're a
You
Reverend.
have you ever gone by Daniel?
No, nobody.
What do your parishioners call you?
Nobody really calls me that. Most people just call me Dan, but Pastor Dan.
Okay,
Pastor Dan.
Pastor Dan.
Definitely not Reverend Dan.
Okay, I that.
Definitely
Reverend and
not.
preacher. You know.
Definitely not
Pastor Dan.
Definitely not very Reverend. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, there are
He
some
didn't
of
put
us,
Reverend, did he? No, okay, that's
and then
what
the
I thought.
non-reverends among us, non-pastors, non.
Well, by the way,
important.
Jerry is behind me here, and so is Steve, who's putting all
Steve's-
this together. and
Reverend
we're-
Jerry.
Well,
Yeah.
And we
So-
apologize for the beginning, a little computer glitch.
Yeah, so let's pray. But let's pray together in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. So bless us, Lord, and give us your wisdom and give us a certain clarity of mind and heart that we might try to capture a little bit about this document, this groundbreaking document written by Pope Leo. And bless us as we discuss this and give us the wisdom that comes only with your Spirit. And we ask all this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So yeah, Dan, we were just talking a minute ago. I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to turn all this over to Jerry.
No, Jerry's behind you.
I mean,
Yeah.
sorry,
Jerry,
Yeah,
you want to
no.
switch seats?
No, I'm done. No, I'm,
Come on, man.
Nope. I'm
So just to ask Dan, as a non-Catholic, discussing this encyclical letter by this Catholic Pope, I guess you
wait, the Pope's Catholic?
Does a bear? Never mind.
That's- and what's that like? I mean, I'm just curious what that might be like for you to do that.
Well, this is the first encyclical that I've read. By the way, I did read the whole thing.
Which is
I
a
read the
task
whole
it's-
thing. I didn't read the AI summary.
I didn't even like the AI summary,
I read the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a new thing for me. But yeah, in general, I'm interested in what everybody has to say. I'm interested in all the voices of, I don't know, leaders of the church.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't think I would have, I wouldn't have read the whole thing if you hadn't asked me to do this. But I'm glad I did. You know, it's just kind of
And then I gave Dan my copy, and then I said, I got to get another one. And so I started reading it again. So
Let me ask you this, though, because let's assume, and I think it's a fair assumption, most of the people watching this don't have any idea what an encyclical is.
that's a very good question. I
Yeah.
think.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, why do they do it? We've heard from time to time the Pope has published something. Most people don't read it.
Yeah.
They wait for people of scholarly intent like yourself to try to explain it. But what is it and why does he do it?
And it's interesting you asked that question because a person from the Wall Street Journal said that he doesn't believe the Pope is infallible. Well, neither do we.
No, we don't believe that.
Now the Pope can speak ex cathedra, which means from the chair, which simply, and that has only happened twice in 2,000 years. And that is only putting a rubber stamp of what something the church already teaches to be true and to believe. We believe, of course, in the church, two sources of revelation: Scripture and tradition, the life of the church. And so, it's all he's doing is putting a rubber stamp on that. So this is not an infallible document.
So what is it and why do they do it?
It is a letter that he is writing, and there's a couple times he does it twice in this document here, where he makes dogmatic statements that lead us to a new understanding of teaching, but the document itself is not infallible. For example, he's talking about just war theory. he makes a very definitive statement about that should raise eyebrows a little bit, because he's making a dogmatic statement. Not that it's true because it's in here, but it's a further development of revelation.
Okay,
And then a statement
explain
on slavery.
dogmatic, because that's another one that I don't think the average Catholic would understand.
That's a good question.
Okay, again, biblical, we have two sources, Bible and Revelation, which we call tradition with a capital T. We believe that the Spirit works through the life of the church and speaks through the life of the church in a way that we can begin to discern what the truth is. I may give a biblical example. When it comes back to the idea of the Gentiles coming into the church, Jesus never addressed that in his public life at all. But here comes the Gentiles into the early church in Acts of the Apostles chapter 15, which Dan asked me this question a long time ago, and I mentioned Acts chapter 15, and he said to me, this was years ago, you said, everybody always brings that one up. Everybody brings that one up.
That's what I said?
Yes, what you said. Everybody always brings that one
It
up.
makes me so nervous whenever you say, you said this to me a long time ago. 'cause
Really?
I
You're
have-
going,
I have
I
no
don't
idea.
what I said yesterday.
I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Mhm.
Do you remember doing that?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
remember-
of course he
And-
doesn't.
And you've referenced like multiple conversations where
Because
I
they
don't
talk about these things. Where does the church teach? But anyway, so then the church made a definitive statement, and I'm simplifying here, that the Gentiles are welcome into the church. This is the Spirit working through the church, making a dogmatic statement. So dogma means something the church teaches definitively. A dogmatic statement is something a church teaches definitively to be true.
maybe a helpful way to explain it is it's something that it's truth that's not contextual, like it's always true. Is that a
What do you
fair?
mean? No, could you give me an example?
Like the human dignity thing that we're going to talk about. Like it's
Okay.
that's always
Never been
al-
defined,
it's
you mean?
always true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I think that's one aspect of it.
Oh well,
That's one aspect of it. That's it's like church never had the need to define that, because in the 2,000-year history of the church, I'm talking about every tradition, it's always been believed to be the case.
no, I just mean like that's one way to understand what dogma is it's truth that's always true.
Okay.
It's not like
And for the sake of, because I think there are going to be people
it's like permanent.
from his church, others that are not Catholic. You know, we speak oftentimes, you want to talk about a stereotype, like when we say dogma, it's true for everyone. Well, it's true within our religion, right? That's dogmatic.
Well, we would still claim, even though
No,
it's true,
it's-
it's always true anyway.
But we do that, but I'm just saying other people may not agree with that. And so that's all right. That's another, right? I mean,
But we're
Dan,
still claiming that's universally true.
I know what we claim.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we're still saying that it is, but you're right. They might say no. Like, for example, human dignity again. Maybe some people, and in document here, it even talks about second-class human beings.
Right.
You know, some people might begin to believe that because of AI. Well, we will never believe such
I'm
a
just
thing.
saying there are two boxes on the table, and I'm trying to balance between the two boxes, that not everybody is necessarily, when we talk as Catholics.
Yes, yeah.
When we talk about dogmatic, that is what is principle of our beliefs.
Yeah, but but the claim still doesn't, in our, like, for example, the truth of gravity, if I believe gravity isn't true, well, that's nice, but it's still true.
So if you don't
See what I'm
believe
saying?
in the dogmatic truths, there's something wrong with you?
No. I'm just simply saying they're true regardless of what I think.
Oh,
For
what you
example-
think? Okay.
For example, we believe, and by the way, this is something we've battled out quite a bit, is the two natures of Jesus, two nature, one fully human, fully divine.
Right.
Now that's something we've had to battle out over the course of centuries, but at the same time, we would claim it to be dogmatically true that Jesus had two natures, fully human, fully divine. So it's like that, but and then someone could say, well, I don't believe that. Well, that's nice, but we would still say that that is an objective truth.
So back to the encyclical thing.
Okay.
One of my questions is like, who is you said it's a letter, but who is the intended audience? Like obviously it's available for anyone to read, but like who is supposed to read
Who's he
it?
writing for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, I don't know if I'm right in saying this, that each of them would have an intended audience that would be unique to that letter. But this one, I think, is absolutely meant for everyone. This is meant to be universally read. I think some letters might be intended for bishops to read as opposed to others, but I think it depends on the letter.
The other one I remember when I worked here was the one about like the environment and climate change.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that.
Laudato Si by Pope Francis.
Was that one also like kind of a general?
Yes. That would
They
be,
all are, aren't they?
I would say not all of them are. I could be wrong about that. Somebody might want to look that one up for me, but I think Laudato Si for sure was also meant for the scientific community. This one here is definitely meant for the AI community and anybody that's using technology.
How does that work? Like how is that supposed to work? Like is somebody gonna give Elon Musk a call and be like, hey, the Pope wrote you a letter. It's 100 pages long. You better read it.
And you better read it. Last part, you better read it.
Like how's that?
Well, I think Elon Musk probably knows he wrote it. You know, I think it, from what I gather, this letter has been received by the world of technology and AI. Now, whether Elon Musk is going to read it or not, I don't know. Probably not.
Okay.
But I think it's meant to be a document that is for the entire AI community or technology community. Sure.
The Vatican certainly has the power and the resources to distribute material like this. So why don't all practicing Catholics in the world get a copy of this?
Well, actually, as Jerry would say, Bishop Barron is offering this encyclical letter for $2 in a book form, just for $2, which is intent to make it as accessible as possible.
It's on the website.
Yeah,
you just go to Vatican. That's where I read it.
That's
I went
where
to
I got it.
Vatican.va.
Yeah, but
Vatican
the
doesn't-
average person doesn't understand.
I
it.
know, but it's
printed
there
it
for
out.
You're
everybody.
not.
But in
You're not
theory-
the average person.
But
Yeah,
it is in fact free to
Yes,
access.
it's
Right.
free,
That's
yeah.
my point.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sell it to all the Catholics around the world.
And I think we're doing a podcast here about it because it is kind of technical language and it isn't the easiest thing to read.
No, it isn't. It is technical language,
Yeah.
which is why I'm about to step aside and I'll keep an eye on the clock because you two are going to beat me like a rented mule when it comes to the way this is defined because I don't have the background. Let's start, though, this Tower of Babel. Okay. That's how he starts. He said the rebuilding Babel and the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Oh, Steve, do you?
Well, I did look about encyclical letters, and
Okay.
I Googled it, and it's an AI answer, but they're typically for
very
the
fair.
bishops
Yeah.
and the Catholic, I guess, to teach.
Sure.
To
That's okay.
teach.
Catholic
Thank you for
hierarchy?
doing that.
Yeah,
That's
to
good.
teach, but
So now, how do we know it isn't AI?
What was your answer?
that wrote this?
What was your answer?
I
well,
mean,
they
seriously.
are written for the public, but they're to be passed down and I guess
the
explained by the
local
clergy.
local clergy leaders.
Okay.
How do we know this isn't AI?
Well, I think we're taking the church's word for it. It's not
Okay,
AI.
but I mean, I think that's a fair question given what look, he just gave us the AI answers to the question.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are on. Babel starts.
All right. So, well, the big question is with all this, we were talking about this before, and every single encyclical letter that I've ever read has a biblical foundation to it that they refer to as things unfold. And the biblical foundation for this particular document is he's contrasting Babel, Tower of Babel, chapter 11 in the book of Genesis, in the restoration of Jerusalem by Nehemiah in the book of Nehemiah. Now, the Tower of Babel is part of the first 12 chapters of the Bible and are not history nor are they science. They're trying to, I think, articulate two questions. I think the first 12 chapters, and you can, see what you think, Dan, with all that. Basically, how do we get so messed up? And then maybe chapter 3 with Adam and Eve, which Augustine called original sin, might be the best example of that. And what is God like? The creation stories might be that. So the Tower of Babel is an event that we're never going to find, like people are looking for Noah's Ark, you know, in Mount Arafat, and looking for and they're not going to find that because we don't believe these were historical at all. These are stories probably begun by a nomadic people who are wandering and first written down probably during the time of David, because that's whenever finally the Jewish people were able to find, and I use this word, they found the leisure to be able to write.
Does that mean there wasn't a physical Tower of Babel?
Correct. There's no such thing as a.
It's not necessarily. That's not necessary to make the point.
Okay,
Okay.
please do.
Yes, okay. All
And
right.
I'm backing
Anything
out
else
the
you want
weeds
to throw in
again.
there about the Tower of Babel? Good.
Huh?
Anything else you want to say about the Tower of Babel?
You think the Tower of Babel did exist?
Not necessarily.
Okay,
You're
you
saying
you
that's-
lost me because I
that's
thought
not
we
really-
just said it didn't.
Well, that would be but he's sticking
I
to a
know.
different view. That's all right.
No, I'm just saying. Genesis chapter 11. Yeah, it's Genesis 1 through 11. It's ancient Near Eastern literature. So like, the question of like historicity is not.
They
Okay.
would not,
All right.
they would
Gotcha.
be concerned
It's
about
not
it. Yeah.
primary for
Yeah.
them.
But basically, the Tower of Babel is this idea of they were building this tower without God, and they were seeking a kind of uniformity. And the poet makes a point of uniformity. Homogeneity would be a point. But the basic thing about the Tower of Babel is they were trying to build this tower without God. And so he is saying that one of the roads into the future, it could be we put God aside. And actually, in a certain sense, it puts humanity aside a lot in a way. And we're going to go on. We don't need God anymore in all of this. Would you?
Yeah,
concur?
yeah. The Tower of Babel is a really weird story, and
Interesting choice. huh?
well, yeah, God is mentioned in the story. Like God is a part of that story, so it's hard to clearly understand like what is the mentality of the people that are building the tower. What they say is we want to make a name for ourselves or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily saying like we hate God or anything like that. They're just they seem to be focused on their own sense of control and power and
I think that's
trying-
a good word. We said power.
trying to. Well, they say we don't want to be scattered throughout the earth, so we're going to build this thing
Right.
to.
A kind of self-affirmation
Yeah.
of sorts
Yeah.
in the whole thing.
Yeah. Genesis 11, and the story of the Tower of Babel has quite a bit in common, I think, with Genesis 3, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's sort of the same kind of thing. Like building the tower is actually really similar to like Adam and Eve eating the fruit.
Taking
Because-
control.
Yeah. They know they're trying to gain something, in this case knowledge, on their own terms. Apart from God, they're seeking this knowledge apart from God, believing that God is withholding something from them, and so it's like, so yeah, I think the Tower of Babel operates as kind of like a maybe not a bookend, but like it's a callback to Genesis 3 in a lot of ways.
Good.
And then a whole new narrative starts in Genesis 12.
That's
with
Abraham. Yes.
Abraham.
Now we're talking more historicity and all that with.
Yeah, but it's still related because like
Oh, yes.
in Genesis 11 they say like we want to make a name for ourselves, and then God comes down and scatters them. Then in Genesis 12 God says to Abraham, I will make your name great. So it's like he refuses to. Yeah, it's like the opposite.
Well, let me
story, because
it's just for my own personal. How much is anything in Genesis historically true?
Yes. We were playing
That's
yes.
just like-
Yes.
What
You
is
need to do it. You need
historically?
to do
Just
a
give
whole
me
new-
give me a couple highlights.
This is a whole new episode, a whole different episode.
I know, but just very
Well, because
quickly
we
then,
set it up so that most of what's in chapters 1 through 11
There's 50 chapters in Genesis.
But 1 through 11, did those things happen?
No. And
Okay, so that's why I'm just trying to.
I mean, I'm more,
I'm trying to define the. Don't think that the whole book.
I would say that we're talking about some kind of a history with Abraham.
So when we get to
Abraham,
12,
Isaac, Jacob, Joseph.
okay,
There we
there
go.
is a lineage of Jewish people, leaders that have been, as believed at the time and written in the Bible, selected by God to lead the nation.
Yes.
Is that fair?
I would say the story of Abraham.
no
we're
biblical
way
scholar
off the
here.
subject here, Abraham. But the story of Abraham is the beginning of the Judeo-Christian tradition. This whole encounter that Abraham has with the living God, Yahweh. Well, that so. But anyway, let's move over to Nehemiah.
Yeah,
real quick.
that's where I was
Let's
going.
move to Nehemiah. Now, Nehemiah, chapter 2 through chapter 6, this is Nebuchadnezzar comes in. He destroys Jerusalem around 587 BC. And for the next 70, how many years after that Nehemiah comes back?
Well, Jeremiah prophesies that it'll be 70 years
That's
of
what
exile.
I was thinking of. Yeah, Jeremiah's prophecy, yeah.
But it's not like, okay, at the end of 70 years, like every single exile comes back. It's kind of a messy transition.
Yeah, exactly. As it was messy
and
whenever they left.
because Babylon, meanwhile, gets conquered by Persia.
Mhm.
And so Nehemiah ends up in Persia, and he's like working for the king.
And the king actually, because he let them come back, they actually call king a messiah of sorts, because he lets them to come back.
Yeah.
But the basics thing of this story here is God is at the center. The whole idea of rebuilding, of listening, including everyone, dialogue, and shared responsibility.
You're talking about the encyclical now.
No, I'm talking about Jeremiah. And
Okay,
Nehemiah.
you're not. I'm trying to get back to where is this in the encyclical and why is it?
Because it's another vision of the world going forward.
Yeah, it's the contrast. It's the positive contrast to Tower of Babel.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so therefore, dialogue, listening to each other, inclusion of everyone, including God, a vision of humanity going forward that's completely the opposite of Babel. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's why he contrasted these two things and all that. That makes sense. I hope it does. Everybody, but it makes sense to you. Okay.
The Pope writes that he sees a future for building for the common good. It seems to me, when I read that, it makes sense. Why would a Pope not want to? I mean, that seems elementary.
Yeah.
Right?
Should be
So
obvious.
why point it out? Why is it important in the encyclical? And, what is required for the future to be truly for the common good? Because I would think that's the church's position on everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't we?
Yeah, I think, again, we're talking about the whole idea of he's writing the document because he's nervous. He's nervous
That's
that
an interesting
AI is
take.
going to take us to a different place that we don't want to go. And so he's emphasizing here, he's building a future for the common good. He wants to make sure that we include in this common good a relationship with God.
Right.
And that God needs to be the center of everything we move forward. And that there is a part of the world today that would like to move forward very much without God. And he thinks that'll get us into great problems if we go forward without God. And one that embraces the human experience. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there's talk, what we'll be talking about later on, about talking about a post-human humanity or a transhumanity, a humanity with I guess I should want to say it this way, that our human experience, there's a certain weakness. We aren't perfect. We are slower than technology in coming to conclusions about certain things. And then also we need a language, he calls it an evangelical language, a language of love, a language of acceptance of others. And he sees a road ahead like Babel that isn't any of that.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
Well, I get, but I'm confused by this because it's like he doesn't suppose that people are going to read this and think, well, I can just ignore AI because, first of all, how do you know what's
Nobody
AI?
can ignore AI.
Well, how do you know what's AI and what isn't AI? You use AI all the time.
Yes.
You in your homilies.
Not all the time.
Well, but a lot.
sometimes.
You've said it a lot.
I
I
resource things using AI.
Yeah.
I resource stuff. I don't write them. My homilies are not AI.
No. But you make a reference to, I asked AI
Yes, yes.
X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Oh, really?
I will do that. Yeah.
And you do that because you have a belief. I'm not trying to go inside your brain. You have a belief that what AI is going to tell you is going to be as accurate as possible given the question and the time that it was asked.
Not all the time. I believe that whenever I ask AI a question, they're going to give me a quick answer rather than me going more arduously through a lot of different.
All well and good, but why do you ask AI?
It's quick and it's easy, and I judge their answer
Okay.
by, well, as we're going to hear, the AI is pretty much based on who programs it. So you cannot determine that everything in AI is true.
So Elon Musk may have a role in all of this.
Well,
I'm
he
sorry,
absolutely does have.
Yeah,
a role
I
in
know
all
he
this.
does. I know he does.
He does.
So the Pope is trying to say AI is a good thing because he can't say it's a bad thing because it's used by a lot of people, but we can't forget who we are.
we cannot forget our humanity. That would be a really critical point he's trying to make.
Yeah.
Is that a concern that people within your congregation, for example, are going to listen to you on a Sunday, preach your lesson, and then they're going to go, wait a minute, Dan said, and I'm going to look it up, and if AI maybe doesn't contradict but has a different view, is that an issue?
That's not something that I'm really that worried about.
I don't expect you to be worried. I'm just saying, but you know.
The question about like losing who we are, I think you said something about that, like losing our humanity because of AI. I don't know if I'm not sure what it is about AI that is a like I don't think AI presents a new threat as far as losing our humanity. I think sin in general makes us less than human in a way.
Okay.
And so
But it's a new way to getting lost in sin, I think.
yeah, sure.
Because he even goes on to say at a certain point that people, one of the great concerns he has is that people using AI will then make that a substitute for real human experience.
So there's all kinds of new tragic possibilities because of AI. So
yeah, and there's a lot of worries about people. I don't think it's just young people, but it's a lot of like for example, I've talked to people that they give a pronoun to AI like he or she.
Yeah.
He said this or she said this. And well, that's a machine that's talking to you right there. And be careful. And then I do think that there's a danger that some people can get lost in AI and lose and not have it, and our human relationships back and forth become less than.
Well, it's like this. It's like the saying: if you see it on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah.
Which has been proven, if anything but.
Yeah.
In recent
it's kind
time.
of a joke at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, because you don't know. But that's the problem with AI. You don't know when it's AI. Now there are some that when they publish, they say AI.
Now, I don't know, Dan, if you've ever gotten this at all, but I've had people say to me, go on YouTube, or the Pope said this, or someone said this, and you go to look at it and you go, that's just AI. That's not really the Pope speaking at all, or other people. So have you ever had that experience of anybody saying something to you like that?
Well, you sent me a video actually a few weeks ago.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
That was
did.
definitely fake.
Yeah, you know what?
You realize, in fairness, you realized that before I even watched it. So.
Oh, so anyway, I did send it. I sent it to a couple people. Someone sent it to me, and then I listened to it, and I said the first part of that sounds really true. I thought it was true, and then the second part of it, I thought, and then
What was it about?
It was about biblical scholarship. Gronk was just initiated.
I don't even know. I never even watched it. I could tell by the thumbnail it was fake. So.
Yeah. It was apparently someone said that Elon Musk's AI, which is AIX, is that what it's called? AIX?
I'm
something
not
like that?
sure. Yeah.
They asked the question about biblical scholarship in it to AI, and this was the answer it got back, and I thought it was kind of interesting, and then I thought about it for a while. I said, wait a minute, I think that's AI, and then I sent you the second text. I said, forget
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
forget that.
But
that's
you
AI.
didn't look at it because you knew it was AI by the imprimatur or what?
No imprimatur on it, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
just
sometimes they are. That's why I'm asking.
looking at the thumbnail, it was just like there were like a couple words that were spelled wrong.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't
well-
even see that. I didn't see that.
and-
So
So yeah, it
Okay.
was just kind of.
All right, we're behind where you guys wanted to. So you wanted to
Yes,
start with
yes.
chapter 1. I
Yes.
mean, we're halfway through. We haven't even gotten to chapter 1 yet. So your notes were about synthesizing the church's social doctrine. What is it and why is it important? It must be important because it was the entire first chapter.
Well, the reason why it's important is because Pope Leo took his name, Leo the 14th, because of Leo the 13th,
Right.
Yeah.
who wrote Rerum Novarum, which was written in I think it was 1890. And Steve, you might want to look up the exact date of that one.
Leo the
1890.
13th. Just look up Leo 13 Encyclical.
Yeah, well, he wrote a couple of them, but the Rerum Novarum,
last one?
I don't know about that. But anyway, so this was the very beginning of what we would call social doctrine, where the church begins to really articulate itself in its teachings, given what's going on in the world more and more. And the Industrial Revolution was a whole new beginning to humanity in many ways, we could put it this way, because it changed everything, especially in the Western Hemisphere, which was, where all this was going on. So this was the beginning of what we would call the church's social doctrine. Pope, I don't know if I wrote down the different things that he was, the things he wrote about capital and labor, with the moral the value of the worker getting a just wage versus just making it. And growing up in Pittsburgh, all of these different stories of these immigrants coming into Pittsburgh and working in the steel mills and how they lived and the squalor in which they lived over in Homestead and Monessen and where I grew up in Bellevue. A lot of it was these immigrants coming in and working in the mills. Everything else. My dad worked in the mills for all that. The reason why my dad didn't work in the mills after a while is because they're going on strike all the time, which the church does support these unions with all that. So workforce, social transformation was a new era. The primacy of human labor. The church never had to talk about this thing before. And Rerum Novarum was called the Magna Carta of the Christian social action. And the foundations are the person of God.
Steve, you got something?
1891.
1891. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. The person is made in the image and likeness of God. Human dignity and the value of human rights would be the very foundations of the church's social doctrine. Then the principles, the common good. You hear the church for the common good of all people, because not everybody's a believer. Common good of all people. Universal destination of goods. Everybody has a right to air, water, food, shelter, all those different things. Subsidiarity, a little bit more difficult to explain. The things should be taken care of on the local level first, would be, I think, that. And then social justice. There is social justice.
There's also solidarity. Solidarity is one of them.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That everybody we're
Yeah, we're all interconnected.
yes.
Are those, Dan, are those universal beliefs, do you think? Should they be universal beliefs? Again, I'm trying to separate the fact that this was a pope in 1891, and he was writing to a specific audience. Wasn't writing, well, he may have said he was writing to the world, but it wasn't going to be disseminated necessarily amongst
you mean
others.
Rerum Novarum?
Yeah. Who was it being written to?
Well, probably in that day and age, to a very elite group, bishops, priests, maybe.
Right. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been a common word.
I'd be really curious about the biblical foundation for that one.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Go for it, guys.
Because like clearly,
Linda, walk that one up.
clearly, I mean, Jesus is the original like source of human rights. Like there were no human rights before. Before Jesus.
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty
So-
much all chaos.
Uh,
Wouldn't
So,
you
yeah.
say that Judaism would be the beginning of human rights on some level?
yeah, I mean,
commandments.
there's pieces of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the law, all that.
Steve,
Yeah.
It says it's the Magna Carta of Catholic social
That's
teaching.
not the biblical foundation, though. That's a title that Leo gave it to it.
I mean, but like the Sermon on the Mount is
Stratosphere.
The law. Oh, like
Yeah, that's
So-
that's the cutting edge of that, sure. And one other thing he mentions in chapter 1 before we move on a little bit is he takes on the dialogue between the place of the political community and the place of the ecclesial community and talking about the things that are going on in the world today.
why do you think he did it so early in the encyclical? Because it's top of mind?
I think it's so profoundly misunderstood. For example, I've had people say to me, and I don't know, Dan, how much you engage things in your community, but when I first brought up immigration as a social issue, people would say to me, "That's political. You're not allowed to bring that up. You're only allowed to talk about church things in church. You're not allowed to talk about social doctrine at all." And so I said, yes, I am allowed to do that. And I used the text of scripture of Jesus with the Pharisees and Herodians. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, give to God belongs to God. Where God, even Jesus gives Pilate authority over him. Where there is government authority that God respects. But it's not the highest authority. The highest authority would be our claim to God. So we can lean toward our politics and be at the bow to our God. As we were saying last time, oh, God bless you.
Excuse
But
me.
can
Thank you.
I quote the document real quickly about that? It says, by engaging in these entities, the church acknowledges the value of social and political realities and honors their specific responsibilities, supporting everything that fosters the well-being of the individual and strengthens the fabric of society. The church does not claim to assume the functions belonging to the state. It does not. On the contrary, she esteems those who serve the common good, and she, the church, firmly acknowledges the responsibility that civil institutions hold within society. At the same time, the mission entrusted to the church prompts her to address the real sufferings of men and women of our time, but outside the political realm.
Yeah. And the reason that is so difficult is because of what we talked about in the last episode.
Yes.
Like the way, like people have converted to what that author called political religions. And so when those are the primary like perspectives and lenses that we have, then we can be threatened by someone like you saying something like that.
Right. And so if anybody criticizes our intercessions or things I might say regard to social justice, if I am out of bounds as far as the church's teaching is concerned, that's a perfectly legitimate criticism. I might be out of bounds in their political beliefs, and that is unfortunate. And I just hope
which is probably what that person meant. Like, they're not just accusing you of being political; they're accusing you of being partisan.
Yes, I have been.
Which is
Well, sure, because you espouse support for immigrants.
Yes,
That's definitely a political position. How could you do that?
because it's also an issue of social justice.
This is part of when people give that to me, I go, wasn't this Jesus? Didn't Jesus say, come to me, right? I don't remember him saying, no, not you. Wait, let me move this out of the way.
Yeah.
Starting here, you can come to me.
Yeah.
So why then? So what does the Pope say that we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to listen to you when you preach that? When you talk about, as you do, and you upset some parishioners? Now, see, this is the difference between me and you, because I would tell them there's the door if you don't like it. I don't.
My whole goal is to articulate the gospel. That's my whole goal.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. So
I'm not trying to articulate.
what's your job?
I'm not trying to articulate Mark Begley's personal opinion,
No.
and I try to keep that out of it as best I possibly
And
can.
I think you do an excellent job because I've tried to read you and I've read a lot of people over many, many years. It was part of my skill. I had to, and I'm not sure with you. I think I know. I think
that's
I
a good
know.
sign. If you don't know where I politically
I think
lean,
I
that's
know.
a great
I
sign.
think I know.
That's a great sign.
I think I know.
Yeah.
But I'm not. So
Are you in chapter 2? I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Well, then he goes on to talk about the wisdom of the church and dialogue with the world of science, and that just like blew my mind. Like, holy moly, we're getting into a lot of stuff here right up at the beginning of the encyclical, because science, you guys could do 2 shows just on the science and religion easily.
I think very quickly he's just simply saying they don't contradict.
Yeah, yeah. Which is that kind of goes back to the Genesis thing you're talking about,
Right.
Like, without that perspective, like if you're trying to read Genesis as a scientific or historical account of material origins, for instance, then science feels threatening.
Yes,
Or it
yes,
can't-
yeah.
or
Because it can't square it with any scientific
But-
evidence or any
but
kind
there's
of research.
but there's no reason why the church, Christians, should feel threatened by anything that science reveals.
The only thing we can
if
call
we believe that God is the creator, like whatever we can observe in creation is,
and science
is
can't seem to
handiwork.
contradict that. They might disagree with it, but they don't. Or some scientists might, but you can't
Right.
contradict that.
yeah, different
Yeah.
Well, what about the
different approaches.
religions that teach? And when I taught 11th grade CCD people a while ago, and when we were talking about things like this, I said, listen, I'm going to teach you or tell you what your church says about X, Y, and Z. What you do with that information is entirely up to you. You're in 11th grade. Your brain is growing. You're learning. But when you hear things like the world is only 2,000 years old, you know better,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But that's a strong belief among a lot of people in Christian denominations that,
But
when I said to these kids, Adam and Eve, there was no Adam, there was no Eve, there was no talking snake. There was one kid in the room, I thought she was going to lose her mind. And I just said it was illustrative, trying to teach you about, because we don't have any empirical facts on that. But the world is only 2,000 years old. And all of this is literal. Now, what do you say to those folks?
well,
Because
the church never teaches that stuff. This is people's opinions. That's not their church never teaches. I
no,
would
no, no,
stand
no.
on
I'm not
what
saying the church
teaches,
taught that, but the
not
church didn't teach it. I mean, we know. If we have half a brain, we know that the world is more than 2,000 years old, right?
Well, yeah, because Jesus is 2,000 years old. I mean, yeah.
It'd be more like 6,000, 6 or 7,000.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
that camp would
Yeah.
argue.
Yeah.
But
Because
it's more than that, too, though.
But we don't want to get into that whole thing too much. But anyway, that's
Well,
yeah.
I'm
The church never taught that.
yeah.
No. I never insinuated the church did. There are religious factions that believe that.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I mean.
Yes. There
I
is,
found
yes.
out the hard way.
Yes,
I got in an argument with somebody and I didn't know that this person believed what they believed, and that didn't end well.
Right.
That did
Yes.
not
That's
end
okay. That's all right.
All right. Now you wanted to. I think we've talked about Rerum, Navarin enough, or do you want to go back to
No, that's okay. We did talk about that.
Yeah,
Sure.
so-
Yes.
What's the foundations of the social document? You talked about equal dignity of all humans, supreme value of human right. What is
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
that? Because he writes 10 paragraphs about it.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, other than what we already
Yeah,
talked
we already
about,
Right. I know, but what's
is
the
that
highlight?
when he talks about being in the image of God, he's saying that he talks about different kinds of dignity. I don't know exactly where that is right now. It's probably between 48.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And the one that I zoomed in on was the ontological dignity of all of us.
Yeah, that's inherent.
Yes,
just
perfect.
by virtue of existing.
Does he write, though, that AI threatens the dignity of all of us?
And that's his big point.
That's my point. So
Yeah.
tell me about that.
Insofar as an algorithm can an algorithm can be empowered to decide who is worthy and who is not worthy of having certain
Do you want
resources.
to explain what an algorithm is to some of the old people watching?
Good luck. Yeah, put that out in a.
I was just thinking when you were talking,
Steve's no,
now,
I was
thinking,
going to say
he's
it.
the young one in the room.
I
so
was going to
that's good.
say the same thing, and I thought, oh no, that's good.
No, go ahead.
Steve's looking it up. He's
take a run
googling
at
it. He's doing what the people at home are doing. They're hitting
it.
Google,
Yeah.
going algorithm.
He's asking AI.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
They'll spell it wrong, but that's
what's
Yeah.
an algorithm? I mean, it's basically an equation. Like if this, then that. So
And who creates the
it's
algorithm?
predicting the most likely outcome,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
The
Yeah,
the programmer.
it's-
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, you finish what you were saying. I think was good. We were saying.
I can't.
he lost him. He said, "What?"
If an algorithm is allowed to determine who is worthy and who is not worthy, then yeah, the inherent human dignity of some people is at risk.
Yes. And that is, as it is his great big concern. And he was saying these things about the human dignity of the person are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
That you with these must be held on to and grasped as true to ourselves as human beings.
But again, that's not a new threat. AI is not like for
It's
the
a
first.
different kind of threat.
It's not for the first time ever. Like human dignity is at stake.
Oh,
It's
no. Yeah.
He
But it's
uses
a
the
new-
word disarm, talking about that threat.
Yeah.
What is
Oh
he?
my.
So
That's a big word.
yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
big word.
it's a strong word.
As a matter of fact, when I watched, I had the privilege, I just happened onto it, the privilege of watching him introduce the Encyclical. And after the person from Anthropic spoke, and a couple other geniuses about these things spoke, the Pope himself spoke, and the first word he said was disarmed. And he said, that's a really important word for me, disarmed. And what he meant by all of that is that technical power, let's say AI, gives the right, and look, we need to disarm that the people that have the power behind AI have the right to govern, that they're in charge, and the rest of us are just at the mercy of them. That needs to be disarmed, and presenting technology technology dominating humanity, allowing technology to dominate humanity, must be disarmed. That's whenever he talked about that word, which is really, really critical to him. But I don't want to bypass paragraphs 99 and 100 because I want to say that they are very, very important. But anyway, what do you think about disarmed there, Dan? What was your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's compelling language.
Is it threatening language?
It's
Threatening to me.
Disarm, just the general use of the word disarm.
Well, yeah, it implies some kind of potential violence.
Violence, yeah.
Yeah.
Talks about violence.
I think you said it well though. It's not AI that needs to be disarmed. It's the people who are controlling AI.
that's well put. Yes.
So
yeah.
so that's why maybe it's a little misleading to say that AI needs to be
He
disarmed.
never really thought that. I don't think he ever said that. The AI needs to be
Is there
disarmed.
Right.
Do you know of any response from the people who created AI to this letter?
I read one response
What's their
to
take?
this thing. Someone
they
sent it to you
defend?
for the parish. No, they did neither. They were amazed that someone like the Pope would write a document like this, and his point was how remarkably comprehensive it was and what it was trying to say, and he kind of finished by saying that he thought that AI ultimately, he thought the great danger, he thought the disarm part, the great danger was that AI will make us all average. Because we'll depend so much on AI for every answer that we look for in life, that we'll depend on AI, we'll just become average. We'll never create, we'll never think beyond. We'll always depend on, if we depend on artificial intelligence or technology too much, we'll get intellectually, spiritually lazy.
Yeah, I think lazy is a better word than average.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because a problem in schools today
but like,
are kids using AI
He mentions it
to
here.
write papers. Why not? Give them the subject. Go ahead.
yeah.
Alex Ray, who teaches English at Altoona, he said to me they're having classes for the teachers on how to spot all the different kinds of AI, and different things that
I don't
people
want to
write.
give anybody any ideas, but if I asked AI to write it, I'd just go in and make a few changes here and there, put my own stamp on it. How would you know?
Yeah.
Please don't do that
Okay,
if you're
like,
listening to me.
Devil's advocate. Oh, like if AI can write papers, then we have to. Then it raises the okay, not devil's advocate, but it raises the question: what is the value of writing a paper?
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You
Yeah.
might get some students that would like to have the answer to that question right now. Like, why do I have to write this 1,000-word paper?
That's like when the Pope said
but
to
like,
priests.
is there a point of writing a paper?
If I would say, just to be devil's advocate for you being a devil's advocate there a little bit, saying that the whole point of writing the whole of writing a paper would be research, and maybe some original thinking on our part. Just doing a paper where you just forget you're writing down a bunch of facts that you look up. There's not much value in that.
Yeah.
So may I go back to what I thought?
Yes,
And
please.
nobody has confirmed that this is the case, but I thought paragraph 99 and paragraph 100 were the absolute heart of what he's trying to say to all
That's
of
where
us.
we started, on the threatening the dignity.
Yeah. Well, let me just share this because this is in chapter 2. It is not to provide a single comprehensive definition of AI. What can be stated, however, is that we must avoid the misconception of equating this type of intelligence with that of human beings. That's his big
So, like,
concern.
what is the difference between AI and humanity? In other words, like what makes it artificial? Why is it called artificial intelligence?
Yes. These systems merely imitate certain
Imitating.
functions
It's
of human intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes. In so doing, they often surpass human intelligence in speed and computational capacity, offering tangible benefits across many fields. This is the key part, I think. Yet, this power remains entirely tied to data processing. So-called artificial intelligences, plural. He always says there's different versions of AI. What do you mean by that? Google versus Chat versus Copilot versus Gronk? With that? Yeah.
They're all
Okay.
AI.
I don't know.
But they're I think are different. I don't know. They're different in some fashion. But he talks about plural here with AI.
Okay.
So-called artificial intelligence do not undergo experiences, do not possess a body, do not feel pain or joy, do not mature through relationships, do not know from what love, work, friendship, or responsibility means, nor do they have a moral conscience, since they do not judge good and evil, grasp the ultimate meaning of situations, and bear responsibility for consequences. That, to me, is at the heart of what he's trying to say to us.
There's a question for you, Marty, actually. Sister Russ wants to know, Marty, does the news media use AI in reporting the news?
That's a good question.
Did I say? Did I?
That's a question for you. Does the news media? Do they in the news
Well,
media?
not being a part of the media anymore, I don't want to speak for my colleagues that are employed today. I'm not going to tell you that there weren't some people that may have used it. I never did. And I would like to think that most of us wouldn't. Maybe as a research, although my case would be just to Google. You specifically asked AI. I'm not blaming. I'm just saying you talked about specific. I never did that. I might have Googled something because I'm not sure.
That's AI.
Right.
I know it's AI, but my point is I didn't go to AI. You went to AI or you just asked Google?
I went to Chat.
You went to Chat, which you knew was AI. No, so
You're doing research, but you're not using AI to write your story.
I don't want to sit here and pontificate that people in my former business don't ever do that, because I would not believe that. Because honestly, some of the young people who I've worked with over the years, if I had been advisors to their parents, I'd have said, hire a lawyer and sue the school that little Johnny went to, because get his tuition back. They didn't teach him anything. That's
No,
my
let me go on with the
But
question.
no, I don't. No, it's not part of the norm.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now it goes on and
And you only have 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. So figure out where you want to go.
what?
Yes. And that's why we're doing 2 episodes, maybe 3. Maybe 3. My point is, you got 5 minutes to wrap this up. So be careful what stretch of weeds you jump into.
I thought it was like 7:20 or something.
No, it's
like that.
7:56 now
We
while
got
you're trying to
started
figure it
at
out. So
7:20.
Anyway, all right. In given that question, paragraph 100 says, yet they can also, they being AI, different versions of AI, can also encourage excessive reliance and the search for ready-made answers.
Yeah.
And weaken personal creativity and judgment. The apparent objectivity of the responses and suggestions in these systems can lead us to overlook the fact that they reflect the cultural assumption of those who designed and programmed them, and their strengths and their limitations. For less discerning users, it can be misleading, creating an illusion of the relationship to a real subject. When words are simulated, they can also build genuine relationships, but only their appearance. So there's the dangers that he's talking about in those 2 paragraphs. And so we just got through chapter 2.
But wait. 2 minutes left. Till the next time you guys meet, which is going to be July 12th. What should people take away about what to do with AI from this discussion? Dan?
I think, well, to repeat the question from a second ago, I think the first helpful like guiding question is to ask, like, what is the difference between artificial intelligence and a human being?
Yes.
Can you always tell that?
That's one of the.
You can't. Can you?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well-
AI is AI. And
That's my point, though. What is the difference? How do you tell the difference? If you tell me
The
something,
question is there a difference? That's the question that the
Yeah.
Pope is raising.
and what do you
is
think
there a
he
difference?
says about that?
And is a human being more valuable than
And also, too, next time we meet, we're going to talk about how different people want to use AI to transcend humanity and how he sees that as a danger. And
transcend?
Yeah. Did I,
No,
what
you're
did I
right.
say? Did I say
You
tran-
said
Yeah.
yeah.
or even talking about a post-humanism,
Yeah.
and also to talking about second-class human beings. And then I think in the next part we're talking about, he goes on to talk about things like war and slavery and things he talks, different issues going on in the world today, and how he talks about them, I think is very, very important for us to hear. That's what I would say about the next week. We'll be talking about this.
So we're back on July the 12th. Jerry, I hope you took copious notes because
I
you'll
did.
be in this
I
chair.
know exactly how we're starting.
Okay.
We're going
Okay.
to start with Dan's question. So,
Very good. Very good.
You're going to put Dan at the top, huh?
up top.
All
Hot
right.
seat.
I really appreciate talking about, I just really appreciated this. I thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Well, and it's a challenging subject, to say the least.
And Marty, you did a good job getting us through those first 2 chapters, and some of your questions that were not
looked them
on the
all up on
script,
AI.
were not on the script, were really pretty good. I
Well, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
No, because I mean, I can't help but think about it. That question from Sister Russ about, whether media used it. Yeah, there are people. I mean, that's part of the problem with media today. Don't get me on that soapbox because we don't have enough time.
Right.
But, people can say whatever they want to say. It doesn't matter whether it's true or has any foundation in truth. And I worry that AI is doing the same thing, but they carefully craft it so it sounds so plausible and real.
Well,
That's why I've listened to people like you and people like him. 'Cause I don't think you guys have agendas. I don't think you'd be in your role if you did.
well, it's good to talk about
That's
it.
a
We're
kudo
just
thrown
getting
your way.
we're just getting
July 12th.
Yeah, July 12th will be the next time.
And
we'll be on.
you're going to have to do a third. There's no way you're going to get through this whole encyclical in 2 episodes.
There is a lot to cover. with
It's
all
not going to happen. So, Dan, just know you're going to get booked for 2 more.
Well,
Sorry.
Okay, we'll see. All
Bye.
right.
Say goodnight, Father.
See everybody. Thank you for joining us.